All right, check, check.
Mic check.
Okay, so when you turn on, so we talked about all this, right? It's pretty simple.
Yep.
Fuel pump before start to prime, then main, ignition, strobe, choke or not, start, then instrument comes on, it'll turn on your GRT, and this, it does not turn on your transponder. So you have to press what you want to do. Standby, now they're saying they want you to use altitude on the field, just because towers can track you on the field nowadays. This thing tends to switch back to standby on its own, so I don't think that matters too much. All right, so we set up and then we wait for the temperature. Go ahead, you had a question.
The volume panel over there, that's for both.
Yeah,
correct?
so this is for intercom right here, and then the squelch for the intercom as well.
All right.
This is to turn your autopilot on and off. I've never touched that.
Okay.
So just leave it on all the time. What else? All right, so we talked about this. You have to turn on.
Oh, pitot heat, do you use that ever?
I've never, well, I've used it once when it was, I've never been in iced conditions, but it was really cold once and I was getting I just turned it on just for the heck of it. Okay, so did our before start, engine start, right, fuel pump on, canopy down, master switch, ignition switch, strobe light, brakes, you know, they're toe brakes, right? So I got my feet on the brakes right now. Clear prop, choke, starter, after start, check your oil pressure. So again, your engine instrumentation, engine information is along the top. It's not displayed on this side, only right here.
Okay.
Throttle, 2000, engine data, choke closed, instrument switch on, radio transponder, GPS on and set. You can check your, for this to go to, if you press page, it'll give you some, your cylinder head temperatures, EGT, fuel pressure. If you press it again, this is where you set your fuel. So you press, like right after you fill your tank, you press fuel, and then you set it here. Whether 20 gallons or 32 gallons, whatever. Enter, and then it changes it there. You also get your volts here, your amps, outside air temperature, which not very accurate. It also has some timers here for the engine and oil. I really have never used that. I just track my hobs with when I put oil changes. I have a little spreadsheet. So this is the only number that I use. Stratus on, that's when I used to have the Stratus. But now this, to get it, you got your iPad.
Yep.
If you want to connect, it's Bluetooth.
Okay.
So you go to Bluetooth, you should see the GDL50R. That's your ADSB in. All right, before taxi, fuel check. We have 2 checks right here and here. We have plenty of fuel. Remember, we're burning 5.5. Sometimes I'll use 6 just to be safe, right? I'll just plan with 6 for climb and stuff, but it burns a little bit less. ATIS, AWAS. All right, so the way this works.
18.
The way this works is the fat knob does the big numbers.
Yep.
Little knob, I don't know if you've used this one before. Okay. And then the COM, it goes to monitor.
Yes.
And there's only, there's just single channel?
Correct. You cannot, like, the main channel always takes priority. So if you're monitoring the secondary channel, if there's communication over the main, it blanks out the secondary.
But you can listen on the secondary?
Yeah, by pressing
the COM. Okay.
Then it changed from S for standby to M for monitor.
Okay.
Temperature
so now we're listening.
Celsius, dew point 2.3 Celsius, altimeter 2.985.
All right, so let's do the altimeter. So it says right here, set barrel. So that means that this knob is ready to set the barometer. So you just twist it 2.9 or 8.5. If you press it again, actually not yet. If you go to now you can see it changes. Now you're going to select your altitude. It has two, basically what I'm saying is just read what it is. So if you're in altitude mode, by pressing this, it becomes the altitude select.
Yep.
Or here, it's your barometer.
Okay.
Let me just tell you about altitude. So if you want to select your altitude, see it goes by 500.
Yep.
But if you want to go by 100, you push and twist. Now you have 100.
Okay.
Altimeter 2985.
Then
Remarks.
I always check both.
Density
send
altitude
both. Set both.
2,400.
Lights as needed. Right now we're just going to go with our strobes. Flaps are up, so the down handle means flaps are up. This would be half flaps, full flaps. There's the little dent right there.
Okay.
Altimeter set, backup altimeter. Oh, so you have your other one here. I can never read the Colesman window, whatever. So I basically set this to field altitude. And typically, actually, what I do is once I get in the air and I get a level altitude, then I'll turn that to the correct altitude. Heading bug, set to runway. So your heading bug here, so if you want to set, like say we're going to take off on 19er, you can set this to whatever. So now we're set to the heading bug is set.
Okay.
And when you have your autopilot on, this is how you change your direction. So like say you're flying along and you get an instruction from ATC, they're like, fly heading 180. Your autopilot's on, then you just twist this, and the plane now goes to 180.
Okay.
It'll take it out of nav mode, because if you're in nav mode, it's following the GPS, and then once you turn that, now it's in track mode.
And how do you switch between nav?
I'll show you once we get in the air.
Okay.
The button. Radio call for taxi, parking brake. Again, that's down here. That's off. All right, so the wind was favoring. Let's go down to 19. So do you want to take off? You feel cool taking off?
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you taxi and everything. Ready? Your plane.
Okay. I got the controls.
Your controls. All right. Again, it's a steerable nose wheel. Here's your throttle, and it's toe brake. So let's go down to 19er. And I'll do the radios, so you don't have to worry about that. Skylark traffic, Sting 234 Yankee Papa, taxiing from the terminal to 19er, Skylark. Well, we got calm winds, so it shouldn't be too crazy on takeoff.
Yep.
Now, typically when you're taught, you put your nose into the wind for air cooling. This is air and water cooled.
Okay.
So I typically don't bother with that. Even in the summer, it doesn't overheat on run-up. In the heat of the summer on climb-out, I'll get high temperatures. So I'll shallow my climb and pull my throttle back a little bit. Okay, so brakes on. Up to 4,000 RPMs. Okay, that's good. And then it's mag 1. So you're looking for, I listen, right? So mainly it's listening.
Yeah.
But you can pull it back. Max drop 300 and a difference of 125 between sides, but it was fine, right?
Okay. Yeah, they were the same.
They were the
it was
same.
like 100 and...
Yeah, and mainly for me, it's, you get used to the sound of the engine, so I do it, and I'm like, that sounds perfect. So I'll look at the numbers, make sure they look reasonable, and I just listen. All right, so that's run up. Oil temp greater than one, and you can't do your run up until you're over 120.
Okay.
There's your normal range for your oil pressure. Again, it would give you a color change.
And where's your fuel pressure?
Fuel pressure, have to go to page, and there it is, 6.6 psi.
Okay.
This thing has always had trouble with its fuel pressure. Bill Bass changed the fuel pressure gauge twice. I've changed it once. You'll get some high readings, not low, you'll actually get readings. They've checked it a million times and are like, it's fine. We did that. All right, before takeoff checklist. So fuel, we already said we're good. Flight control's free and correct, so I always go up, down, right, all the way back. Good. Elevator trim, again, just a little bit forward of neutral. Flight instruments are all in the green. Heading, altimeters, check, match. Flap set to half. I'll let you do it. Landing lights, strobe lights. Sometimes I'll fly with my wigwags just so people can see me better. Transponder to altitude. Initial heading, where do you want to go? Let's go, let's keep going east. Let's get away from gray.
Okay.
We'll just fly to the east. Takeoff brief. Got plenty of length. Wind is calm. We're going to do a normal takeoff. We're going to turn to the east. We'll go up to whatever, 3,500. All right, so if I say power's not set, just pull the throttle back and we'll just stay on the runway and abort the takeoff.
Yep.
We should be off the ground, definitely within 1,000 feet, probably less.
Okay.
If something happens and we're less than 1,000 feet AGL, I'll obviously take controls and we'll look ahead of us to land in front of us. If we're greater than 1,000, we'll think about turning back around.
Yep.
All right, any questions?
Nope.
All right, your controls.
All right, I got the controls.
All right, I'm just going to follow on.
Okay.
And
I'll make
the call. Skylark traffic, Sting 234 Yankee Papa, departing 19er to the east, Skylark. Clear final.
A little different flying right-handed.
Yeah. And know that it's twitchy, right? It's very touchy, so like once you get up, if you have a little bit of turbulence, it doesn't take much correction.
And you just smoothly go all...
Yeah. Even fat, yeah, just like that. All right, so power set, speed is live. Now we're looking for 45, there's 40. There's 45, little back pressure. And we're up. And this thing will climb pretty steep, but I usually don't climb, maybe a little steeper than this. Like right about there, I usually climb out at. All right, flaps down, or up, sorry. Now you see the difference, you see what happens?
Yeah.
See that nose up, you gotta be ready for that nose pitch up when you take your flaps.
And do you leave the throttle at full?
So you can. The Rotax, you can leave full throttle the whole flight if you wanted to. That's obviously not what you're gonna do. Now we have whenever you're ready, you can turn east. We just gotta stay out of there. We got that little corner there we can't hit.
Okay.
Skylark traffic, Sting 234 Yankee Papa, departing the pattern to the east, Skylark. Yeah, so this is perfect climb out. 65, 70. Now, if you got a long climb out, Bill recommends that, again, your short climb out, we would just leave it pegged. But if it's going to take a while, you're going up to whatever, 6,000 feet. He recommends actually pulling this back just ever so slightly till you get a little bit of an RPM change. He says you get a little bit better fuel economy. But you don't have to, you can leave it pegged if you want. That's an angle of attack indicator.
Oh, yeah, I actually meant to ask you what that was.
That's because you're at, 65 knots with a pretty high angle, but it's yellow. There's no stall horn on this plane.
Oh.
It's very hard to stall this plane. It stalls at like in the 30s with full flaps.
Oh, well.
It'll easily climb at 1,000 feet per minute if you wanted to. On a cool morning, 1,500 feet per minute, it's a slick little plane. Once we,
You want to level off at 35 or?
yeah, that's good. And then I always like to put an altitude bug. So I press altitude, and then I twist this to 35, then hit enter, and then it puts a bug. I don't know if you can see the green bug.
Okay, yeah.
See, we actually got a little warm on that climb. See that it's yellow?
Yeah.
238.
136
So I usually cruise at about 5,200 RPMs.
Okay.
So go ahead and start pulling your throttle back. I'll show you how to do the autopilot. So you get up to cruise and you're like, okay, I'm ready to let the plane take over. So right in front of you here, you have autopilot and flight director. All right, so one press and the autopilot comes on.
Autopilot engaged.
Then you press altitude. You set your altitude. I want to set it go back to 36. So remember, it goes by 500s. So there's 35, hit that.
1,000 feet from selected altitude. At selected altitude.
So it'll take us down.
Right downwind for
Entering altitude hold mode.
But it's just holding this heading. Now you could change that. We could make a turn. Are we past the, yeah, we're past the, so say we wanted to go to the left. So now if I turn this, now it's going to start taking us this way.
Now, so it's in the heading mode as like a standard. It doesn't say heading anywhere. Oh,
It says track.
Okay.
This is set for track, 54. This is set for heading.
Okay.
So we're pointed 52, but we're tracking. Well, now it's about the same, but you'll see a difference sometime.
Yeah.
Here's your wind.
Oh, okay.
So we got a direct tailwind. So you'll see, say if you have a headwind from here, your nose will be pointed into the wind. So that'll say 55 degrees. This will say 50. Because we're tracking 50, but we're pointed 55. So that's the difference between how they're set up. So we want to go to Temple. So we can go either into flight plan or direct, whatever you, if you already have a flight plan that you can add to it. But now we just want to go direct. So we can just put in KTTL. Okay. It finds it. And then activate. Whoops. I messed up. Activate. Now it's in there, so when we go to map, now it drew a line. Now if we come over here, see nav? Now it's going to take us to Temple.
And that that identifier wasn't even there until you put that in?
Right. So then it puts it, they're slaved. So now it puts in Temple. And this is going to overcorrect. So you see, there's Temple, but it's going to get us onto this course. So it's going to overcorrect. It's going to take us left of the line so that we intercept this GPS.
Oh, well.
Now, if you didn't want to do that, then you could just go direct. Again, now it redrew the line. And now it's going to take us direct. Which it's right there. And then there's flight director, which I don't use a lot. If you push and hold this, then it gives you the magenta thing. And it'll tell you where to turn. If you keep that on that, then you're going to... It talks to you too much. It like tells you things. I'm like, shut up. So I don't, then if you push and hold, it turns it off. These are all customizable. You can decide what you want up here. So ground speed, distance, to Temple. Estimated time of arrival at Temple. We've been in the air for 12 minutes. Our waypoint. Track to our waypoint, distance to our waypoint, and the weather, that's the weather on the ground, not in the air.
Okay.
That's the weather at Temple. That's kind of neat.
Oh, wow. Then
you can go to weather, and it draws the ADSB weather, and then you can, there's your menu, so you can do whatever, set it up how you want it. Flight plan. You can add in, so let's add another waypoint.
Now, if we did nothing, would it turn us around again, or it would just
No, I think
fly over it?
I think it's just going to fly. Let's see what it does, but I think it's just going to fly us over. Let's go to McGregor. So go ahead and put in McGregor. So it's not, here's your, here's all the ones I've been to recently.
Okay.
So if you go to the same place, you could just use that. But if it's not, which I haven't been to McGregor in forever, got to do identifier. PWG. Okay. And then that's it. And then it's already turning us. And now put it in there. Then traffic. So we got somebody behind us. You can click on it. Tells you all about it.
Huh.
It also it's also on the map. See, there he is. There they are. So it puts all your traffic on this, but if you want just the dedicated traffic, it's right there. Then you go to numbers, then it gives you all the stuff that was at the top, but like extra stuff. You can see sunrise, sunset, blah, blah, blah. And then main menu, this is all the setup menu. Oh, it's got 3D vision. It's gonna load terrain. It's also got a 6-pack. You can hit map again and it gives you a 6-pack. So say all this stuff dies, you can just hit map again and then you can fly with this. Or fly with your iPad, you know, you got it's redundant. GRT, not connected to your autopilot, not connected to your engine information. It's its own PFD, got its own AHRS, GPS reference. This is where you get your wind from. This doesn't do wind, so I always look over here for wind. That's about it. From here I can't really see much, like all these numbers.
Yeah.
So I don't really use this much. I just look at the wind. Talked about straight and level. Oh, here's your dimmer for your instruments.
Okay, and that's all of them.
There's some actually this just does these, I think.
Okay.
To dim this, you have to press this. Then it says dim.
Okay.
So for night flying, for here, it says dim in brackets. That tells you that you have to press enter, press the button to get to that feature. Just like right now, this is set to change my altitude. If I wanted to change my barometer, I click that and then it's barometer. This switch turns this on and off. No real reason to mess with that. Oh, this is when I change this. So I'm like, okay, I'm at 3,500 feet. I set that to 3,500 feet. And now it'll sync with this.
Yeah.
You notice that they're off just a little bit. And obviously there's your backup instruments there. On this, if say it's nighttime and it's too bright, this is your, if you wanted to manually shut this thing off, this is power, but if you just click it once, it brings this up. And you can change that. And your volume. This is the release button, which we'll do when we land. I can show you how to take that out.
Longhorn traffic, Blackhawk 840 direct, Echo 3, Longhorn traffic.
All right, any other questions? I think that's most stuff in the cockpit.
If you weren't flying by autopilot, so you trim with this, so forward is nose down.
Correct.
Okay.
And the autopilot will tell you if you need to trim. If it's fighting, if it senses too high of a force to maintain altitude, it'll say trim down or trim up.
Oh.
All right, let's turn the autopilot off and you can take it. Ready?
Okay.
You have the airplane.
Autopilot off.
Your controls.
I guess we should probably turn around since we're heading towards all these clouds.
That's beautiful, though. Look at this picture of that. I'll get our selfie. Gotta have the selfie with masks on. Yeah, you can take us wherever you want.
Alright.
Let's see, where are we? Alright, so here's the MOA. Seppel's behind us. Here's McGregor ahead of us. I don't see any traffic. Oh yeah, for traffic you can press this button if you want to go out further.
Okay.
So there's some stuff like way out there, 20 miles out. We'll leave it at 12 miles. Oh, the best part of the airplane? XM. The beauty about having the XM built in is that when somebody calls you, it shuts the radio off. And you can hear when we're talking, it's off.
Yep.
And you can change that. You can go into and then pick whatever you want. And you also have 12 volt. You have one on your side too, so you can plug your...
Oh, like tucked in
Yeah.
here? Where's the actual plug for that?
if you reach down with your hand, you'll feel it right here.
Oh, yeah.
Feel the 12 volt.
Yep.
I don't care what star. I met you several years ago. The times that were so strange, but I had to figure it out.
Or what do you want to do first? Stalls or turns or?
Let's start with turns, I guess.
Okay.
Keep it simple for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ailerons are definitely very sensitive.
Very sensitive.
So we left the wanting bee still there for me and you.
23846 will be departing to the south from the west side with a base turn out.
So we got a prohibited area, but it's only up to 2,000. So we got nothing really around us here.
Okay.
Got to just stay away from there. We're good. This is a good area actually to mess around.
Open up your smile and see me, dark star. It's easy to be with you even
What RPM do you usually climb at?
I don't really. It
don't
drops down
gauge it.
to
So you
about.
just leave
I
it
just
full
max it and then just really look at my speed for climbs.
Okay.
But this is a good climb. Again, it'll go steeper, but then you're gonna get a little hot. But if you needed to, I mean, you can climb at 60 or 65. You know where's the? I put the speeds on here. VX is 50. That's like scary. Like
Yeah.
your nose is straight up. VY is 55. I typically, this is 65 is my typical. Best glide is 70. B&O 118. So if you're getting a lot of turbulence, I keep it below that. B&E 164. You're going to stall at 44 in the clean configuration, 38 with the flaps down. Your flap range is 65 to 75, so when we're coming into land, our first notch of flaps is at 75 knots. Then we slow it down to 65 for our second notch. All right, let's start with steep turns. Or actually, you don't have to go real steep to begin with, but just let's do a 360. Feel comfortable turning, and just try to maintain your altitude.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back to 55.
Yeah. So get it to 55, pick a direction, and just do a comfortable 360. All right. Which way you want to go?
We'll go
All right.
left.
Clear left.
You do a steeper bank angle, or is that pretty
This is not a full. This is not steep.
steep turn? Yeah.
Feels steep, but it's not. This is a good turn. Like, if I was going to turn, this is what I would do. Because steep turns are pretty darn steep.
It's also getting, like, I've pretty much only flown high wing stuff, so it's getting used to, like, you know,
It's.
seeing everything above you when you're
Yeah.
doing this.
I mean, this plane's just ridiculous with the visibility. Ah, that felt good.
Well, I didn't
You
lose
gained-
altitude,
you
I
gained.
gained a little bit.
Gained 100. All right, get it back to 55 and then try to the right. That's a steep turn.
Okay.
A little bit more. That's real good. Perfect.
I lost 30. Not so bad.
Very good.
1-4, Gillespie.
Longhorn C-Staff, 676 taking 15 for departure. Longhorn.
As you can see, it doesn't take a whole lot of rudder
Yeah.
to stay coordinated.
Clear, Longhorn, we'll see you.
All right, you want to try some slow flight?
Yeah.
All right, so let's bring it back to about 3,000 RPMs.
Gillespie traffic, terminal left.
Is that pretty close to all the way back?
West, touch and go 14.
Yeah.
You just pull it back all the way.
No, because that would be, because it'll go down to like 1800
Okay.
at idle. All right, so let's do first notch. You're within your flap operating speed, so go 1 notch. Now you notice you get that pitch down moment, opposite of when we dropped it, so you gotta...
It's actually interesting because like in a Cessna, it kind of goes up.
It does the other
when you hit
opposite.
The flap, so
Yeah.
I was almost expecting to push
Yeah,
forward on it.
It's opposite with these split flaps. All right,
And I've already lost a bunch of altitude.
yeah. All right, you can do your second notch. You're at 60.
2 miles north of the top of Lake Weatherford, 3,500.
And you can trim it.
Out here north of Lake, Parker County traffic.
Gillespie County traffic, Blue Cub is 2 miles north.
All right, so pick an altitude here, and let's try to stay at it. You might have to adjust your throttle. I guess 52. Let's try to stay at 52.
And Gillespie, experimental 50, Mike Romeo, turning right base, touch and go 14. We've got the Blue Cub in sight, Gillespie.
Remember your stall speed gonna be like 38, so you're getting close.
Interesting.
You feel a little bit. You feel
Mine
that.
says we're going 48.
Yeah, they're different. Feel a little
So I was
bit.
like, oh, I got plenty of speed here.
Can you feel a little bit of that?
Yeah, it's like
Just
Or
tiny,
yeah.
tiny bit.
like near stall, but not there
Not.
yet. Definitely.
Now,
lost
this
altitude.
plane, if you're a little bit uncoordinated, you're going to drop a wing. Just be ready for it.
Okay. I think I've seen that in some stall videos, and that's what I saw is when it stalled, it would go one way.
Sometimes it's docile, sometimes it drops, and I've tried to stay like super coordinated, and it'll still do it, and sometimes it does. I don't know how, but the recovery is real simple. Don't do throttle. Just nose forward and then opposite rudder, and it'll just correct if the wing drops. Don't hit the throttle. And don't use your ailerons, right?
And is this a good speed then for slow flight, like right around
This is perfect.
42? Yeah.
This is slower. This is slower than your approach speed. You're gonna cross the numbers at about 55.
Is that the speed there, X and Y? They're actually like
I
denoted
have no
on
idea what that is.
Yeah, it says X and Y, I'm assuming, and it's at 55 and 60.
Cherokee County traffic.
Huh,
Cherokee
I've never seen that.
November, just departed to the southeast, climbing through 2,000, departing the area.
Yeah, so this is really nice slow flight. You want to try some turns?
Yeah.
Check your rudder. Your ball, you're a little bit off.
Gillespie County traffic, Blue Cubs, right base, 14.
Even at this speed, you do have some rudder. Some aileron.
Yep.
Mostly it'd be rudder, but
So
Alright.
power off stall, I mean, we're essentially like here anyway. We're at,
yeah.
do you typically do it at like 3,000?
No, so I would,
Or you'd power off all the way?
yeah. So let's get, my ball's a little bit off, so give me a little right rudder. Let's get it nice and centered. How does yours look? Yeah, you're a little,
Yeah.
get it a little bit centered.
Okay.
Alright, so power all, we already got full flap, so power all the way back.
County Cessna 21017. We're
Now you can see that's
3 miles
red.
to the southeast of the airport.
It's telling you, but you're not going to get any audible.
Departure in.
Okay.
Right downwind, runway 14.
Power to idle. Did that already break, or did you?
I didn't do that.
Okay, so it already broke, so that was your stall.
And then so you just power forward.
Now you
after
power.
that.
Now you can power.
You power up.
Right rudder, and then full power, and come out of it.
At what point then, so when do we put flaps down if we're going to?
Yeah, now I would, as soon as I get positive rate, then I would go flaps.
Okay.
All right, let's go power back again. Do it one more time.
Yeah.
So that was pretty docile. But believe me, sometimes it'll drop that wing and it's like, ooh! And again, it's going to be on my side right around 38. So we're close, coming up to 40. Pull it back a little bit more. And remember, the correction's going to be forward and then opposite rudder without adding throttle to our wings level.
Coming back a little.
1-4, Gillespie County.
All rudder.
There,
Okay, there it is. Nope, not aileron, remember.
Not
all
aileron,
rudder.
Rudder, okay.
See, that's the thing. But you see, we dropped that wing,
Yeah.
and it's left rudder. It's so, you just want to use aileron,
Yeah, exactly.
but remember, that's
it's like
the wrong
counterintuitive.
thing.
You feel, yeah.
Let's do it again.
Yep.
Because that'll get you into trouble if you get into a spin, right? You got to have neutral aileron. And this gives you an airspeed warning, visual, when you're going too slow. But this would be your approach. You'd be crossing the numbers at 55 and you'll get that airspeed warning. You got plenty of speed before you stall. Now if I overshoot final, like, I'm still careful. Like, I don't, even though it's hard in this plane, I don't yank over and pull back, you know? I make nice shallow turns if I, my base to final, if I overshoot and I need to come around. You don't want to test it, but it's not like a Cirrus or something where you're gonna have a stall spin. And we're getting a little buffet. Feel it?
Yep.
A little bit back. More. Gonna go in a second. It's gonna go. Ah!
I probably have too much power.
Okay, pull your power. There's the buffet. There's the brake.
All right.
Now the thing is, can I show you something?
Yep.
I have the controls.
You got the controls.
So, what Bill showed me, Canino, is that in this plane, your power to weight ratio is so good that, like, you can actually power through a stall. Like, say you're almost at stall and you feel the buffet. And you don't, you just go, you don't lose anything and you're out of it.
Yep.
All right, let's drop this.
Does it automatically stop at the next setting, or can you go all the way down?
You'd have to keep the detent in.
Okay.
All right, your controls.
I got the controls.
You have the controls.
All right.
All right, let's go practice like some of, pattern work.
All right.
Let's pick an airport. Where do you want to do it? Executive or go back to Temple?
Temple's probably pretty good. That's a
so...
It's a big runway, right?
Oh, yeah. They have 2 runways there.
Yeah. So we can probably pick one with minimal wind.
Yeah. All right, I'll let you do the GPS. Go direct to... Try the direct button. The D.
All right.
Now, you can... let me see something. I think you can go to More, and it gives you your recent.
How did you do that?
All right, so click direct.
All right.
More next to KPWG, and then there's your recent, and then hit activate. Now we're direct Temple.
And we were kind of going there anyway.
All right, and I'll get Temple's.
Is there a way to pull up on here, like Temple's radio stuff?
Yeah.
3234.
I'll show you.
Southwest all done.
Yeah, like you don't need your iPad. You can do it all through that. So go to flight plan. Click on Temple. And click on it again.
County traffic, 6152 hotels, just north of the end of the runway.
And then there's all your stuff. Information, frequencies, weather. AOPA information, and then all your IFR charts. So there's our frequency. Let's get the, well, let you do it, sorry. AWOS 134.97.
Now we want to monitor.
Density, altitude.
And so we are, let's go back to the map.
There's your distance. Now that
can't be right. Oh, because it's still got...
it's still got, so clear that. Click on KP, then click your menu.